So as we go through the process of putting on a Robert Jones bandage, which is an extremely advanced bandage, I was going to show you some of the materials that I use. Now this is more of a modified Robert Jones bandage than a true Robert Jones bandage. So I use 2 combined cottons, 2 red gauzes, cotton clings, 2 vet wraps, and an elasticon for the actual bandage portion of it. To go on the wound, I'll use a 0 form that we have here, and that's just to keep it moist and act as a barrier to prevent infection. Before we start anything, even though we just ozoned it, I want to dry it a bit. This is a very tight bandage. I don't want to cause any additional pressure sores or trap any moisture really in there that's unnecessary. You want to stimulate blood flow so you're not cutting off too much blood circulation for too long. Get off those oils to prevent bandage sores, which you will get with this kind of bandage, especially with this kind of wound. Engage that lymphatic system here and get that system really moving that fluid around. It's clear and it's gel-like, and after its ozone's been running through it for a couple weeks at a slow bubble, it takes away all the color and it turns it into more of a Vaseline, and you can smell the ozone on there. And this is really, really good stuff. So when you're putting it on there, you put it down on any kind of salve, especially on a wound that's got swelling and stuff in it. You want to go down, moving in a downward motion. And what that does is that's engaging that lymphatic system and helps push out the fluid that's accumulating there, because horses have poor lymphatic systems. That's why you'll see things like a horse get stocked up when it's in a stall for several days at a time and not able to get out and move around without an injury. The next step I do is 0 form to keep the wound protected for the rest of the bandage. Just get it on there to cover the wound. The next one I'm going to put up front because he's already accumulating some bandage sores, which is common for a bandage like this. So we like to be proactive, not reactive. Now when you put this on here, you want to put it on there. Now he's sedated because he just came out of the hyperbaric, but it can feel like a fly. So whenever you try to dance around it and just lightly put it on there, they'll pick up their leg and slam it down, things like that, thinking it's a fly. Non-adhesive stick pad to help absorb any kind of fluid that's coming out of there. And now I start with my cotton cling. I start right above the fetlock on the middle of this, on the medial side. And I do that with all my material. That way when you're going around and down again, you come back around, you're not overlapping, causing unnecessary pressure in one spot. So I like to go all the way down, up again, down again. Because what you're doing is you're creating like a basket. A basket's like of a bandage, and it's going to be holding that bandage in place. It's much less likely to slip. Same situation, starting in the middle of the leg on the medial side. Now this is going to be a tight bandage. This is what it's supposed to be, a tight bandage. So as you go around, I like to splay my hand across evenly. Don't be just grabbing in the middle because you're just putting most of the tension here. Spread your hands out, and that way you're able to do consistent and even pressure, because this is supposed to be viewed basically as a soft cast. I'm trying to prevent this fetlock from flexing that much, and I'm providing support. Next step is your red gauze or brown gauze, depending on what you want to call it. And once it's catching itself like that, this is when I start cranking down. Now once again, this is a tight bandage. It's meant to be a tight bandage. Tightness does not cause a bandage bow. Inconsistent pressure causes a bandage bow. If it's tighter here versus there, you're going to get a bandage bow. If it's really tight, but it's a consistent tightness, you're not going to get a bandage bow. So the same concept as the cotton cling. I like to go up and then down again. And then when I go down, I like to use my pinky and ring finger, and I just kind of tighten there. That way you're tightening down here, but not up here. See that? And then I go up again. And then I just start doing my all the way up. I like to do my 50% overlap, 50% overlap. And when I get to the top, I like to do kind of 3 times around is when I find that I no longer see the cotton underneath. And then I always leave the combined cotton a little bit of it exposed. And then I start just going back down again. And this last little bit, I don't use it to tighten, I just kind of let it go all the way around. You kind of see like that A or a little upside down V of that basket that I've created to hold it. So we'll do the exact same thing with the vet wrap. Except for this time I don't have to go all the way around, I can just kind of start. I go all the way down, you cover all of the red gauze or brown gauze, leaving some of the combine cotton exposed. And you do a hard up, hard down, creating that little V or A. And then you start going up again, and then start working your way up. Now once again, very tight bandage. It's meant to be tight. 50% overlap, 50% overlap. Then you start again. So you put another combine cotton over it. And this one I'll start really cranking down. And I actually do prefer him to be on his toe when I'm doing this, because I'm trying to prevent that fetlock from slipping, or excuse me, I'm trying to prevent that fetlock from dropping down. So if he's standing on a higher angle, on the tip of his toe, and I go to bandage it, it's going to be less pressure when he goes to flex. And this bandage will actually be more supportive. So this one, there's more surface to cover, so I don't do the down, up, down, up. I just kind of go all the way down from the fetlock down to the pastern, and then go up again, because there's a greater surface area. So you run out of bandage material quicker. And then when I realize can't go all the way back down again, I just, once again, just nicely put that over, not causing any additional pressure. Because unless you can go all the way down or all the way up, you just do a very little amount of pressure here. Because that means that if I just went around and put pressure here and it stops here, there wouldn't be any pressure here, causing inconsistent pressure. But that's very tight. Same concept, all the way down. Tight. And you can kind of already see on how that's causing him a little, it's allowing him, see now he's standing on it and actually hiking up that other leg, which is probably getting tired and painful from being the support limb. He's much more comfortable standing on this one because of the support this bandage gives him. As I use my elasticon, so you start up top, because then this moment, it's just help holding. So this is not meant to be any kind of tight. Once I get down onto the bandage here and it's catching itself, it's go time. I start applying more pressure. So this vet wrap flexes. Elasticon does not flex. So I utilize this for two reasons. One, so the vet wrap doesn't like get stretched out and then the bandage loses its integrity. And also because it's a thicker, more hardy material that can withstand the horses just being in the stall, getting up, getting down, and things like that. See how this is not tight at all. But once it gets down here, very tight. And that's how you do a modified Robert Jones bandage. It's a very useful tool when you have some extreme injuries. I do not recommend anybody doing this at home unless you really know what you're doing and you've been trained by a professional, because if you don't know what you're doing, you can seriously mess the horse up. This is like a soft cast. It is very, very, very tight. If it's not done properly, you can seriously injure the horse even more. So if you have any questions or any comments about this kind of bandage, feel free to leave them in the comments and let us know what you're thinking, what you're asking, what you're hoping for. And if you like it, give us a thumbs up and a subscribe. That'd be really helpful. And get out to a lot more education out to the typical horse owner where you can do things like this at home.